On today's video, we're going to explore the top 3 things I learned from my holistic doctor that are life-changing. If you told me that I'd be making a video raving about a holistic doctor 2 or 3 years ago, I probably would have laughed at you. Not because I was against them, but because really they weren't on my radar at all. You see, I'd only go to the doctor if it was really needed and something urgent had popped up that needed a medication or a fix or a solution. For a quick background to anyone new here on the channel, almost exactly a year ago, I was nearing the lowest point in my life as my daughter had been suffering from painful GI issues that the allergist and pediatrician just couldn't figure out. There were tears from all of us feeling so horrible that we couldn't figure it out. One day, I took a breath and decided to trust my intuition from what I thought were seemingly random triggers, and I came across histamine intolerance. I was able to get her symptoms significantly reduced with diet, but there was still something that was causing her to flare from time to time. So I decided to seek out a holistic or functional medicine doctor. It took a while to find one that was willing to see a 1-year-old child, since they really couldn't communicate their symptoms. And I definitely found the teammate I was meant to find. Regardless of if you have histamine issues, mast cell, or any other health issues, I assure you that you'll likely learn something new from this video. Maybe it will even inspire you to proactively find someone to be your own wellness teammate versus waiting for things to go terribly wrong. Hey, one can hope, right? So out of privacy for my family, I'm not going to be naming the holistic doctor that we use, but I will call her Dr. G. I'm so thankful the universe connected us and that she has helped us to navigate this healing process. While we can't clone her just yet, I thought sharing 3 powerful things that I've learned from her would be quite valuable for anyone, no matter where they are in their health and wellness journey. So with that, let's dive into number 1. First, I've learned that working with a holistic doctor can feel like actually having a teammate. I'll never forget after I ended the first call with her, I ran into my husband's office and amazed shouted, "This is what healthcare should be. This is the future of medicine." Full body chills. Even my daughter, who was 1.5 at the time, was bouncing with excitement. Dr. G is an amazing listener with a lot of tools in her tool belt. Some of the things I was familiar with and others she would suggest for me to learn about. EFT, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping is one that was highly effective, but I had also learned about from my own mother-in-law, who's an amazing practitioner. Her website is Mariposa EFT if you want to give it a try. The body code is another framework that I was familiar with, and I've really enjoyed releasing and working through a lot together with Dr. G. One of the things I love about Dr. G is that she's humble. I have a hard time working with the egos of doctors, making assumptions and believing that they know all. It always felt off to me. Dr. G could tell that I do quite a bit of research on histamine intolerance and Mast Cell Activation Syndrome in order to be an informed mom, and once even said to me, "Hey, you probably know more about this than I do, but if you want to learn more, you can check out these resources." It's so refreshing to approach learning things together and working towards a common goal of wellness without ego involved. It was Dr. G who was the one who actually confirmed that we were also dealing with Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, or MCAS, and we were quickly able to identify a few root causes. I'm talking outside of the box things. It's ironic because I had recently listened to a podcast talking about the dangers of EMF, or electromagnetic frequencies, and all the different wavelength frequencies hitting our bodies that have grown exponentially with increased Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, even more Gs, bringing us all the way up to 5G. Without even mentioning that, I had been researching devices to help with this. That was one of the very first things Dr. G picked up on for my daughter, is that she was sensitive to some of those frequencies. Since I already had a few devices in mind, she was able to confirm which one would take care of that issue for us. So you may be wondering, well, how can she confirm that? Well, that brings me to the second point of what I've learned about from Dr. G, muscle testing. Now, the irony of me raving about how good of a teammate and partner she is that muscle testing is the thing that caused me to push off scheduling the meeting. I found her in April of 2021 when I was in a desperate phase because I couldn't figure out what was causing her to flare. However, when I realized that the oats I had been giving her weren't gluten-free and I removed them as well as all other gluten, her flares were mostly under control. That false sense of security combined with my doubt and understanding of how she could possibly do muscle testing remotely with any accuracy caused me to not reach out and schedule until mid-July of that year. Our first appointment was in August, and by early the following year, just a few months later, my daughter's GI tract was light years better. She was basically a whole new kid, and even my very skeptical husband was blown away at the progress that she made. So what exactly is muscle testing? Well, it's also known as applied kinesiology or manual muscle testing. I'm not an expert, and I'm sure there's many practitioners who have tons of different levels of belief on how exactly it works. And there's lots of videos on YouTube for you to check out if you're curious too. However, it's the idea that the body can communicate what issues are needing to be addressed and what tools might be able to help using the strength of the muscles. So now you may be wondering, well, how can someone test muscles remotely? Well, this concept I was much more comfortable with, having been Reiki certified for over a decade. We're all made of energy, and energy is connected regardless of time and space. It's all about setting the intention to connect, and then once the connection is established, Dr. G can muscle test on herself using the method that she's most comfortable with in order to sense energetic and physical issues. I'll never forget the first time that she connected with my daughter, who was about 1.5 at the time. She was literally leaping up and down, smiling ear to ear, and giggling so much. It seemed like even though she couldn't speak, she was just like, yes, yes, you're on the right path and you're figuring it out. Like it just felt like pure joy. I'm still practicing to get good at trusting and understanding muscle testing myself, and so I tried on a lot of things that don't really matter, like where did I leave my phone or the keys, where is that remote hidden? It helps me build up my confidence that when it's right with these things that are seemingly unimportant, that I have more trust and faith of, is this food or is this supplement good for me or for my daughter, and I can have confidence in the answer being provided by my own body consciousness. If this is a new concept to you, just let it sit and imagine how much more effective and customized your wellness journey could be when you have your own body as a teammate, not as the thing that you're trying to fix that's your worst enemy. This allows you to not just have to waste money buying all possible supplements to see what works or causes a reaction or not. It also prevents you from accidentally making things worse. This brings me to the last point that I'm going to share today, and this point is a game changer. Dr. G helped me to understand how the body truly works. I had become familiar with the analogy of a bucket to understand how my daughter's histamine bucket could get filled up and then cause a flare. I've shared it before on this channel, but Dr. G's analogy of a bathtub that she shared with me allowed many other pieces to fall into place. Dr. G compares our body to a bathtub. The size of your bathtub is your genetic and other inherited or acquired tendencies. If your ancestors have had certain health issues or toxic exposures or genetic glitches, your bathtub will be smaller. She then shared, there's evidence that genes are affected by the environment in science, which is known as epigenetics. Anyone who's followed any of my videos knows that she had me at epigenetics because I am so passionate about this. Okay, now we know why we have those different sized bathtubs. Then we have 3 faucets that come into our bathtub, and they are the foods we eat, emotional traumas and stress, and our environment, which includes exposure to toxins, both chemical and heavy metals, infectious agents, electromagnetic frequency, and allergens such as pollen, dust, and animals. Whew! So we are constantly taking all of this into our bodies, or our bathtub, and it's our body's job to process and drain the bathtub. And there are 3 ways that it does that. First, through our intestines, liver, and kidneys. Secondly, through stress resilience and mental, energetic, and spiritual support. And third, key systems and inputs being in balance and operating efficiently, which includes your immune system, lymph system, sweat glands, menstrual, acid-alkaline balance, hormones, vitamin, mineral, amino acids, antioxidants, nutrient balance, proper sleep, and structural integrity. Whew! If the drain is plugged up and the faucets are going strong, or say one gets turned on more than usual, then the water in the bathtub will overflow. This causes you to experience symptoms. These symptoms can vary from person to person, but it can be anything from a runny nose all the way up to cancer. When the body doesn't get rid of the toxins through these usual routes, or if the toxins are suppressed, the body will need to do one of two things with these toxins. First, it could store the toxins. Examples of this are tumors, including benign cysts or even malignant ones. Cysts, fibroids, enlargement of organs and glands such as prostate or thyroid, endometriosis, fat cells, excessive fluid, and even mental illness. Second option is to choose an alternative route out of the body. Examples are skin rashes, including eczema, psoriasis, or even excessive sweating, an increase in menstrual flow or frequency, lung problems such as asthma, sinus problems, allergy symptoms, and diarrhea. Substances that suppress the elimination of toxins, which therefore also creates more toxins coming into the body because they need to be detoxified, are steroid drugs, artificial hormones, anti-inflammatory drugs, birth control pills, long-term use of bioidentical hormones, illegal or legal drugs, and excessive use of antibiotics. The ultimate goal of health is to decrease the toxins coming into the body and maximize the drain. It's just that simple. I just love this visualization because it really helps you to have the perspective needed to make meaningful changes. And it all starts with asking yourself, how can I start to ensure that the right inputs are going into my body, or the tub, for me right now, as well as optimize the output? I certainly understand that having lived decades without this knowledge can be overwhelming. However, be kind to yourself. You were doing the best you could with what you had. However, that's exactly why I shared my empowerment framework. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by a new avalanche of information, especially if some of it makes you feel triggered. All that you need to do is honestly assess where you are and then take one action step at a time. Maybe for you, that's finding a holistic health practitioner or doctor to be your teammate. Maybe for someone else, it's practicing muscle testing, and for others, it's making steps to start with diet. Each step you take will bring you closer to wellness, and when you incorporate your intuition as you feel comfortable for you, you'll feel even more empowered than you felt in a long time. What if all of these symptoms and health challenges that you've faced or are facing are just your body's way of trying to get your attention and to encourage you to take wellness into your own hands? Who knows? Either way, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I don't want you to miss this video on the empowerment framework that I thought up to help provide some context in exactly these situations. Check it out here.